Today we'll be looking at an action-adventure comedy fantasy mystery called So I'm a Spider. So what? Spoilers ahead. During what seems to be an ordinary day, a mysterious explosion occurs and kills an entire high school class. One of the classmates wakes up to find that she has been reincarnated in another world as a weak, nameless spider-type monster. Quickly escaping from her cannibalistic mother and siblings, she realizes this world functions under RPG logic, only to end up wasting all her skill points in a useless appraisal skill. Wandering the labyrinth for a while, she finds herself increasingly hungry until she finally resorts to cannibalizing the corpse of one of her siblings, which causes her to unlock a mysterious taboo skill, and later manages to kill a poisonous frog by trapping it in a web she made. Despite both meals tasting awful, Nameless resolves to survive in this new world. Elsewhere, it is revealed that her classmates reincarnated as well. The fourth prince of the Analite Kingdom, Shun, noblewoman Katya, Shun's pet earth dragon, Faye, crown prince of the Resent Kingdom, Hugo, Saintess Yuri, and the class's teacher turned elf, Miss Oka, and they are all attending magic school with Shun's younger sister, Sue. Faye shares with Shun her belief that her reincarnation as a dragon was karmatic punishment for bullying their classmate, Wakaba, in her previous life. She asks Miss Oka about her, who has been searching the world for reincarnations, but she reveals Wakaba has not been found yet, causing Faye to hope she is okay. Meanwhile, Nameless continues hunting monsters and discovers that she has a unique skill that heals her when she levels up. She proceeds to build a nest and later finds a human caught in her web, who drops a dragon egg while escaping. Nameless plans to eat it, but before she can do so, more humans appear and burn down her nest to get the egg back, forcing her to flee. Depressed at how weak she is, Nameless builds a new nest and begins aggressively hunting monsters to get stronger. Before long, however, her new nest is also attacked, this time by a giant snake. After a hard-fought battle, Nameless beats the snake, causing her to reach her level cap and evolve. Back at the academy, Faye decides she might as well try to get stronger herself. After evolving, Nameless is suddenly attacked by a group of humans, and while fleeing from them, accidentally falls down a hole. At the academy, Shun's class is having magic practice. However, Hugo causes a scene in an attempt to stand out. The class is then suddenly attacked by an earth dragon, which kills the teacher. Hugo arrogantly tries to defeat it alone, only to get instantly knocked out. Emulating his older brother, the hero Julius, Shun attacks it with the other reincarnates and manages to kill it. Afterward, however, Shun is horrified to learn Faye gained the title Kin Eater, meaning the dragon was probably her parent. While Hugo is infuriated as Shun is celebrated as a hero. Back with Nameless, she now finds herself in the dungeon's lower sanctum, filled with monsters that utterly outmatch her. However, she then crosses paths with a high-level earth dragon named Araba, who easily kills them. Nameless tries to hide, but Araba notices her, leaving her at the dragon's mercy. Fortunately for Nameless, Araba does not consider her worth its attention and leaves. Finding herself stuck in the lower sanctum, she begins exploring whilst constantly having to hide as every creature down here is much stronger than her. She eventually finds herself starving and resorts to eating the only species weaker than her, grubs. Grubs so poisonous, eating them almost kills her. Eventually, she starts to level up again and manages to defeat several weak monsters. However, she makes a huge mistake when she kills a monkey monster, which prompts its entire family to attack her in retribution. Finding herself trapped, she is forced to fight the horde. Following a prolonged battle, which she only survived thanks to the skill that heals her upon leveling up, Nameless stands victorious. Having defeated the monkeys, Nameless finds what seems to be the path back to the upper sanctum, but instead finds herself in the middle sanctum, a lava level. Nameless is at a disadvantage against the new monsters as they are all able to burn her webs. Finding a safe area, she evolves into a small poison Terratect for the more potent venom. Using skill points, she also purchases the ability Pride, as it allows her to level up faster, but also unlocks unholy and dark abilities she is unsure about. At the academy, Shun is impressed with Faye's progress as she has evolved several times, and they are both more popular after the defeat of the Earth Dragon. Faye shows concern over Yuri, who is becoming increasingly fanatical in her religious beliefs, and demands Shun tell her if he ever comes across someone with the taboo skill, as they are the unholiest of sinners and should be eliminated. Shun is surprised that, as a hero, his brother Julius is under the patronage of the Word of God Church. Nameless is frustrated she can't use the magical abilities she keeps unlocking. Returning to the lava lake, she comes across a giant catfish monster, and realizes she can kill them by tricking them into swallowing balls of her poison. She also takes an interest in an ability she has not yet unlocked, Ruler of Pride. Nearby, Julius and his team approach the lava lake. Julius reveals that they are hunting a spider monster. Nameless realizes one of her magic skills allow her to see a few seconds into the future and successfully defeats a giant eel, later using the eel's corpse as a makeshift shelter so she can evolve into a Zoa eel spider, with higher combat and stealth, glossing over that humans consider Zoa eels to be harbingers of misfortune. After evolving, she is happy to find her front legs are now as sharp as knives and her body has generated armor plates. She also purchases the Perseverance skill that makes her more likely to survive with low health, though it also increases her Taboo skill. She also becomes able to use Detection to better sense her surroundings. Dual Perception also gives her 2 distinct minds so she can multitask more efficiently and literally talk to herself. Julius and his team are attacked by 3 greater Terratechs and an even higher level Terratech, the Nightmare's Vestige. Julius kills the Terratechs and then manages to kill the Vestige with his team, but as they leave, Julius cannot escape the feeling that the Vestige was actually afraid of something else they'd failed to see. Elsewhere, a demon lord is revealed to have been watching the Vestige, which had betrayed her and needed punishing. Shun's popularity grows due to Julius's victory, making Hugo even more jealous. Shun, Fei, and Katia talk about their classmates with Miss Oka, who reveals that, excluding the 6 at the academy, 11 have been taken into custody by the elves, 2 more have just been found, 4 have been confirmed dead, and 3 are still missing. During an excursion to the mountains, Shun is attacked by Hugo, who reveals he intends to kill all the students and blame it on a monster attack. However, in the end, Miss Oka intervenes and defeats Hugo before using an unknown skill to strip him of his abilities. Meanwhile, Nameless is satisfied with her progress, but comments about her disappointment that there are no evolution for her maxed out appraisal skill. Just then, she receives a message that a person called Administrator D received her complaint and crafted a wisdom skill for her. However, this leaves Nameless terrified, as it implies there is a godlike being watching her every move. Back at the academy, Hugo vows vengeance against Shun and Miss Oka when he is approached by a girl claiming to be one of the missing reincarnations, who offers her assistance. As they are both princes, Hugo's attempt to kill Shun is covered up so it doesn't start a war between their 2 kingdoms. Shun reminisces about their life in Japan when they were all good friends and when Hugo was egotistical but harmless. He also remembers the class loner, Hiro, being bullied by Fei. They confront Miss Oka about her refusing to discuss the dead or missing reincarnations and ask about Hiro. Nameless learns her second mind has been spending time learning magical theory, allowing her to begin using actual magic. While arguing with her second self, her dual perception levels up again, granting her 3 minds instead of 2, and decides her third mind will focus exclusively on learning magic, while she and her second mind focus on staying alive and leveling up. She is attacked by an injured fire dragon, who is still stronger and faster than her. Attempting to poison it, she crafts a magic poison bomb, but before she can shoot it into the dragon's mouth, it is blown away by a fireball. Through the rapid communication she carries out with her 3 minds, unlocks the 4th mind. Trapped and unable to dodge, the dragon unleashes a giant fireball at her. Miss Oka informs Shun that Hiro is dead. Julius visits the academy to tell Shun and Sue the demons are mobilizing for war, and he is beginning to set the front lines. Meanwhile, it is revealed that the nameless that dragon killed was an illusion. With help from all 4 of her minds, she then successfully casts abyss magic to kill the dragon. However, she is then confronted by a mysterious man with administrative privileges who sense the dragon's death. As they fail to communicate due to a language barrier, a smartphone suddenly appears out of nowhere. The caller then converses with the mysterious man, who leaves, before addressing Nameless and introducing herself as D. Realizing that she has been watching her, Nameless asks D what she wants, to which she answers it is just entertainment and ends the call before Nameless could ask further. In the demon realm, the demon lord holds council with her generals and declares war on humanity. Back at the academy, Shun suddenly unlocks the hero title, which can only mean one thing: Julius has been killed. It is also revealed in this episode that Nameless's storyline takes place 15 years before that of the other classmates. While wandering around wondering about D, Nameless finds a route back to the upper sanctum. In the present, Shun meets with the royal family to discuss his new role, and it is decided he must quit the academy to take over as the hero immediately. Elsewhere, at the remains of the battlefield between the humans and demons, the magician Rondant, Julius's former magic tutor, is angered at the loss of life and ends up recounting how, 15 years ago, he and a team of soldiers entered a labyrinth to investigate a monster outbreak. They discovered that the cause was a pterodactyl, scaring away all the other monsters, and a battle ensued, which left Rondant and a fellow mage Bueramus as the sole survivors. Having received the news that a queen pterodactyl appeared on the battlefield, Rondant suspects it might be connected to that Zoaella. Back in the past, it is revealed that the pterodactyl was, in fact, Nameless, who uses the gathered experience to evolve yet again. However, this also causes her taboo skill to reach max level, and she passes out. As Shun feels uneasy about replacing Julius as the hero, Faye convinces him to form a pact with her, enabling him to summon her if he is in danger. However, this causes Faye to evolve and revert into an egg while the process is underway. Shun later meets with Hyrins, the only survivor of Julius's party, and he explains that they were all killed by a mysterious girl in white, with him only surviving because Julius gave him his own revival item. Shun does not blame Hyrins and takes him as his new teammate. Back in the past, due to Taboo reaching level 10, Nameless starts getting visions that the world is heading towards an apocalypse, but struggles to make sense of it all. Concluding she needs to get stronger and save the world, Nameless decides to challenge Araba, and begins relentlessly leveling up by clearing out monsters that might get in the way. In the end, she finishes her preparations just as Araba arrives to confront her. Nameless and Araba find themselves evenly matched, but she is able to turn the tide in her favor by trapping the Earth Dragon in a web she prepared beforehand. However, Araba then uses all its saved up skill points and to acquire abilities Nameless is weak against. Finding herself increasingly cornered, Nameless briefly considers giving up, but ultimately resolves to fight to the end. Just as Araba is about to finish her off, however, the Earth Dragon suddenly collapses. It is then revealed Nameless knew she could not win head-on, so she instead used a skill she acquired beforehand to drain Araba's stamina until it succumbed to exhaustion. Victorious, Nameless is about to deliver the killing blow when Araba stops resisting, satisfied with their battle. This angers her, and she kills the dragon, but is left feeling hollow. In the present, the Demon Lord reminisces about the time she fought an Earth Dragon, while Shun vows to avenge Julius, unaware that Hugo is plotting against him. Back in the past, Nameless finally finds a way out of the labyrinth by following a tracking spell she placed on the humans from earlier. After defeating some humans guarding the labyrinth's exit, Nameless finally enters the outside world. Wanting some way to communicate with humans, she makes her new goal to evolve into an arachne, a half-human, half-spider monster, when she suddenly receives a telepathic message from her mother ordering her to return to the labyrinth, which she ignores. In the present, Shun and his family meet the elven chief, Potamus, who reveals negotiations with the demons have stopped ever since the current Demon Lord's ascension and warns Shun not to trust the church. Meanwhile, at the academy, Katia and Sue worry about Shun when they are kidnapped by Hugo. Back in the past, Nameless's mother is angered by her disobedience and sends an army of spider monsters to bring her back. However, she defeats most of them with ease before teleporting the remaining ones to the middle sanctum, killing them with heat. Her mother then once again tries to control her, prompting her to send her parallel minds through their psychic link and attack her mind. Returning to the present, it is revealed Hugo is working with Shun's older half-brother, Silas. Nameless comes across a carriage being attacked by bandits and comes to their aid. However, after defeating the attackers, she notices one of the occupants, a vampire baby named Sophia, is a fellow reincarnation. Jealous of how easy she has it, Nameless departs, but then notices a group of elves planning to kidnap the baby, so she disposes of them as well. In the present, Sue suddenly kills her father, the king, and frames Shun. Silas and Hugo then arrest him and explain that the king was going to make Shun his successor to keep him off the battlefield, so they cooperated to launch this coup. However, Shun manages to escape with help from Ms. Oka and Hyrins, his maid Anna, and brother Leston. While recuperating, however, they are attacked by a group led by Hugo's reincarnation ally, who's revealed to be Sophia, and Katia, who has been brainwashed. While they are able to free Katia, Sophia and her assailants overwhelm them until Faye, who's evolved into a huge light dragon, arrives and they all escape on her back. Afterwards, Sophia telepathically informs the Demon Lord that she has completed her mission. As Nameless's parallel minds eat away at her mother's mind, they find that they have been locked in as she suddenly makes her way out of the labyrinth to pursue Nameless herself. Finding herself completely outmatched, Nameless teleports back to her nest in the labyrinth, but is ambushed by more Terratechs. She tries to flee, but is stopped by a puppet Terratech, a small spider monster that operates a human-sized mannequin. Driven into a corner, she finally turns the tide by killing one and leveling up, which fully heals her, before teleporting herself and the remaining ones into the lava floor, where they die from the heat. Afterward, having reached her level cap, Nameless evolves yet again. In the present, Ms. Oka informs Shun and the others that Hugo is planning to attack the elf village, so they decide to head there to stop him. Except for Leston, who opts to stay behind to deal with the kingdom's current situation. However, this journey will take them through the very same labyrinth that once housed Nameless. Following her latest evolution, Nameless discovers she now has an immortality skill. She is then contacted by Dee, who congratulates her for being the first to reach this species and reveals why she and the other classmates were reincarnated before departing. Dee did it as an apology, as the explosion that killed everyone was actually an attempt on her life by a previous hero in Demon King, revealing she is one of the classmates. In the present, Shun's party has reached the labyrinth, where they recruit a guide named Basgath to lead them through it, and Faye reveals she can now assume a human form. Because Hugo's Imperial army is guarding the entrance, the guide sneaks them in through an undersea entrance, despite some trouble with a water dragon. Back in the past, Nameless has reached the sea where, after having her own water dragon encounter, she gets an idea. Re-challenging the puppet Terratech, she kills it by flooding the cave with water before retreating back outside. However, just then, she is suddenly ambushed by the Demon Lord, the Origin Terratech Ariel, who immediately blasts her body to pieces. In the Demon Realm, Ariel prepares to attack the elf village. Meanwhile, Shun's party camps out whilst traversing the labyrinth. Unable to sleep, Shun is told by Basgath about how he once encountered Nameless, who is known as the Nightmare of the Labyrinth. Finding themselves at a crossroad, with time being of the essence, the group opts to follow a short but dangerous route through the Nightmare's former home. This leads them to being attacked by an earth dragon, but they are able to beat it. However, they are then confronted by a swarm of Nightmare's vestiges, spider-type monsters said to be the Nightmare's offspring. Strangely, though, upon realizing Shun and Co. are reincarnations, the creatures let them pass. The group then finally exits the labyrinth by flying through an opening on the back of Faye's dragon form. In the past, Nameless is revealed to have survived through her immortality, but ponders that she must tread carefully, as there exists magic that can kill even immortals. Elsewhere, Ariel furiously realizes that Nameless is alive when one of her parallel minds uses her link with her mother to attack her mind. Nameless finds herself near Sophia's hometown, which is once again being targeted by elves. In the present, Shun's party travels through the same town. While there, they learn the animosity between the world's two dominant religions, the Word of God Church and the Goddess religion. And Miss Oka reveals Hugo has likely brainwashed the heads of the church, causing Shun to resolve that they must defeat him. Back in the past, Nameless kills the elves trying to abduct Sophia along with anyone suspicious. This draws the attention of Potamus, who fears Ariel and the church might have realized his intentions to gather the reincarnations. The church's pontiff, Dustin, also takes notice, but chooses to ignore it as he prepares for war against the goddess religion. The townspeople eventually become aware of Nameless as well, and believe she is a divine beast sent by the goddess. A mother later brings her sick child to Nameless and begs her to heal him, which she reluctantly does. However, the next day, Nameless finds that word has spread and the entire town has now lined up to be healed by her. Shun's party finally arrives at the elf village where they are shockingly met by Potamus, who they thought had been killed by Hugo's coup. After a night's rest, Miss Oka leads Shun, Faye, and Katya to the other reincarnations held at the elf village. However, whilst sharing a happy reunion, the others reveal that they were in fact kidnapped by the elves, causing Shun and Co. to grow suspicious. In the past, Sophia's parents receive a demand from the neighboring country to hand over Nameless, which they cannot possibly do. Potamus then arrives, but he ultimately opts to not make a move on Sophia while Nameless is nearby. Sensing her mother is weakened enough, Nameless teleports to her to finally kill her, but severely underestimates her and ends up falling into a trap. However, her parallel minds then return to her, transferring all the stats they stole from her mother onto her, and allowing her to kill her with ease. Afterward, Ariel finds Mother's corpse and swears vengeance before being confronted by an earth dragon, who claims it is natural for the elderly to make way for their children, only for her to attack it out of spite. An envoy from a neighboring kingdom appears before Nameless and declares her their property, but she just finds them annoying and walks away. She is then confronted by the same administrator she had met in the labyrinth, who introduces himself as Gully Astrades and requests her to stop attacking Ariel and interacting with humans. However, she refuses, arguing that she must interfere to prevent the apocalypse. Unfortunately, after Gully leaves, Nameless is attacked by the envoy's guards, prompting her to kill them in self-defense. However, using the envoy's death as a cause belli, the neighboring country declares war, and Nameless decides to face their army herself upon realizing what she has done. In the present, Ms. Oka wonders if she had made the right choices. It is revealed that she has a unique skill called Student Roster that tells her the reincarnation's place of birth, health, and how they would die, which prompted her to make a deal with Potamus to effectively imprison them in the elf village for their own safety. Meanwhile, Ariel's forces have secretly mixed themselves in with Hugo's army and are using them as cover as they march towards the elf village. While preparing for the upcoming battle, Shun's party is joined by two more of their former classmates, Kunihiko and Asaka, and Ms. Oka tells them the elves' theory as to why they were reincarnated. The RPG system that governs this world is controlled by beings known as administrators, who feed off the energy of people's skills, and they summon them to develop powerful skills. She also reveals that Hugo is likely being manipulated by them, while Sophia serves them willingly. As the group wonders what became of the two reincarnations who are still missing, the entrance of the elf village is attacked by one of the said classmates, Sajin, who became a church assassin. After Sajin destroys the entrance and flees, locking everyone inside, the barrier surrounding the village is suddenly destroyed, allowing Hugo's forces to attack. Miss Oka leads the elves' counterattack and, having learned from her skill that Hugo is destined to die here, faces him to personally end him. However, while she is able to take out a brainwashed Yuri, Hugo overpowers her with aid from Sophia. Before he can finish her off, however, she is saved by the arrival of Shun and his party. In the past, Nameless joins the battle against the neighboring country, resulting in massive casualties for the enemy. When Ariel suddenly appears, it is revealed that, after killing the dragon, Ariel's soul merged with Nameless's parallel mind that had previously jumped over to her, causing her to adopt some of the latter's personality traits. However, she still wants revenge and has Gilly Destrades, who came to check on her, teleport her to Nameless's location. As they fight, Ariel uses her several skills that prevent Nameless from using magic or teleporting, forcing her to rely on healing herself by leveling up using the experience gathered from collateral damage just to stay alive. Eventually, their battle is interrupted by a young Julius, which causes Ariel to stop out of the fear of the secret effect of the hero, which causes them to always win against the Demon Lord. However, Ariel is able to distract him before using abyss magic, which can kill even immortals, to vaporize Nameless. In the present, despite his allies wanting to help, Shun insists on facing Hugo alone. As the elf village battle continues, Potamus orders the Gloria units to be sent into battle. Meanwhile, Shun easily defeats Hugo, and Sophia refuses to help him, revealing her affiliation with the demons and that they were only using him as a smokescreen. Hugo is furious at being manipulated, but she effortlessly knocks him aside. Shun and his party fight her, but they are similarly overpowered with ease. Faye attempts to surrender on everybody's behalf, but Shun refuses to give up, believing Julius would not either. Unfortunately, they are then ambushed by reinforcements led by the last missing classmate, 8th Demon Army Commander, Wrath, who is Shun's friend in their previous lives. However, the elves then launch their counterattack using the Gloria units, which are revealed to be mechanical tank drones, killing all the demons except Sophia and Wrath. Elsewhere, Ariel approaches the village with the woman in white who killed Julius, when the latter suddenly decides to check on Sophia and Wrath. Shun tries to stop Sophia and Wrath, but is overpowered and Anna takes a lethal blow for him. Desperate, Shun revives her with a Forbidden Mercy skill. However, this raises his taboo to level 10, causing him to learn the truth of the world. Seeing an opening, Hugo strikes at Sophia, but is knocked unconscious by the woman in white, whom Shun and his party recognize as their classmate Wakaba, the nameless spider. In the past, Wakaba survived Ariel's attack by transferring her consciousness into an egg she'd laid beforehand, and hatches as a newborn. She then uses experience she obtained from the battlefield to evolve into an arachne. Meanwhile, Potamus attacks Sophia's home, kills her parents, and fatally injures the family butler, Merizophis, forcing her to turn him into a vampire. Fortunately, Wakaba arrives and engages Potamus, but gets pushed into a corner until Ariel appears and beats him, revealing he was only a mechanical copy. Ariel then calls for a truce, to which Wakaba agrees, and she, Sophia, and Merazophis all agree to follow her back to the demon territory. Back in the present, Wakaba's party moves on to defeat Potamus. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, be sure to let us know by leaving a like, subscribe for more stories, and check out the other stories here. And if you have any interest in animation, you can check out my channel, The Zodiac Lord, where I post animations, or any of my other social medias where I post a lot of art and things. The Zodiac Lord on all of them. Hope you all have a lovely, lovely day.